All right. What is your full name?
My name is Casey Matthew Hainline.
How do you spell
Casey.
it? And then your middle name, your middle initial, I guess,
M.
and then your last name.
Hainline, Hainline.
H-A-I-N-L.
L-I-N-E.
Okay. And what is your management or position or leadership?
I'm a lieutenant here at the
Lieutenant.
fire department. Yep.
How do you spell that?
Yeah, no idea.
Says it on your shirt.
Always just put LT. So much easier. Lieut.
Okay.
Entant.
And do you have a work email or something?
I do. It is. Let me double check. It is KCH.
Okay.
At MCP.
Okay.
CITY.com.
All right. All right. How would you describe your management style?
My main style is pretty much coaching, right? With the coaching aspect is, I like to praise, and I'm a really big advocate for you praise in public and then you discipline behind closed doors. Um, with with that being said, you praise, you want to show everybody that you did a good job, but if you didn't have that conversation if somebody messed up or didn't do something right, it's degrading and it breaks down your continuity of your shift or your team into string him across the coals in front of everybody. So you have
Yeah.
that conversation behind closed doors.
How do you develop your management over time?
Um, I think it started when I was little, just being in sports, and you pick your um, sport that you want to go into. And, I had really good coaches and I had really good leadership, and you just want to turn into those people. Um, and you basically pick because, with this job, you have good leadership and you have bad leadership too. And
Yeah.
you choose, even with a bad leadership, you can still spin it so you can go, well, I don't like his leadership, so I'm not going to do that. But then you could have good leaders and I want to be like this person. I want to be up to his qualification and know his knowledge and his positive attitude and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mentors basically is what you need to find a mentor in the fire department. And we have mentors, and sometimes it's here at our fire department, and sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
Finding that mentor and then bouncing back ideas from him, and it's just a growth.
What mistakes have you made in your role as a lieutenant that had helped you become a better lieutenant manager?
I'm pretty new to this role. I've only been a lieutenant for 8 months, but you always make mistakes. Even as a firefighter, I made mistakes. As a paramedic, I made mistakes. What it does is it makes you better because you have to be honest with yourself and go, I don't know the answer, or I don't know what to do. And that's where you find guidance. Just being honest about stuff and knowing your shortcomings and your shortfallings is, and working hard to get back or get better than you were. Mainly it's knowledge. If you
Yeah.
don't have the knowledge or don't know how to do something, you just need to work on it. Sometimes it's easier as you can go ask somebody. If not, you have to get in a book or read.
Yeah. Um, How does your management style change based upon the environment?
Um, we do work in a world. In our world, everything is an emergency, so it can change. But mostly, I stay pretty much to coaching. I'm positive, reinforce force positivity. Um, there is a time where I will have to yell at people if they're going to do something that's going to hurt a patient or hurt themselves. You're going to have to stop it.
Yeah.
So you'll have to yell and get on somebody right then and there. But most of the time, I like to do it behind closed doors. Um, I wouldn't say, and I think when you're in a leadership spot, you need to learn your people below you too. You can't have the same leadership qualities or leadership for each individual person. Not everybody is receptive the same.
Yeah.
Some people love praise and they'll work hard on praise. Some people think you're fluffing them or you're not giving them true answers. So you have to read your people to understand what do they want out of it too. And basically, that comes from like setting goals with them and knowing them as a person. And as a fire department, we do a really good job of we're a family here and we know each other.
Yeah. Um. On here. Now, pretty much the same exact question, but instead of like, how does your management style change behind you, like based upon the environment? How does your management style change based on the people you're around?
That would be the same thing.
The
You'd have to,
same.
yeah, you'd have to. You just got to know your people,
Yeah.
right? Once you know the people underneath you and they respond well to, you know, it's like some people you have to yell at. Some
Yeah.
people respond that way. Some people respond break down if you yell at them. So you have to give them like the disappointing dad talk. Or
Yeah.
there's people who really respond to I don't know just reward stuff. So it just kind of depends. You just gotta know your guys or
Yeah.
your personnel.
Um, so, what are some tips that for adapting to your management style that suits the people you're managing without sacrificing your core values?
Say it one more time.
So, like, what are tips for people to adapt to your management style without sacrificing your core values?
Okay. I think they have to find out what their management style is first. I did a lot of sports. I was in I went to college for sports, so sports have been a big key in my thing. My dad coached me, my mom coached, and this is what I was raised on and really respected that, and that helped me to know how to be a leader in that aspect. So I think it would come from the personal or the individuals, maybe past or what have their personality traits to help them do it for that kind of different leadership. Your core values, those have to be entrusted in you when you're little.
Yeah.
You're built up from a little kid knowing it's not good to steal, it's not good to murder, stuff like that. So you don't want to change who you are. Some people get power hungry and they can change and let that stuff go. But at the end of the day, you got to look yourself in the mirror and know that you're not going to change and you're going to just be who you are. And you have to be okay with that in your own skin.
Yeah.
These are good questions.
I didn't make them, so.
Oh.
How do you manage multiple people in larger groups versus smaller groups?
Oh,
So like,
um,
so pretty much like if you were to give a lecture to like 50 people in this room, then if you were to do the same but just with like five.
um, how I like if I had to give a lecture or something like that, I'd leave it. I like open conversations. I like to have everybody talk. With bigger groups, it's not always the option because you can be out there for days, especially if you go to like little kids and they have like a class of 30. They have thousands and thousands of questions for you.
Yeah.
Um, gonna probably first you got to know your audience. I think you have to get with that. So know your audience, who you're going to talk to. If it's kids, older kids, or adults, or just knowing your audience and how you're going to talk to it. I think your smaller groups, you could have more conversations. Your bigger groups, you're probably going to have more set guidelines and not have it open floor kind of thing.
Yeah.
Did you come and watch me? My answers.
Mhm. What strategies do you maintain in hold on, let me read that again. Uh, oh, this is the same exact question like last time. Pretty much the same exact thing that that I said last time is the same exact question as this one. How do you approach conflict among other team members?
We have a pretty big rule here that you solve everything at the lowest possible level you can. So if two guys are arguing about something, they need to talk to themselves and get it squashed. If they can't, then they need to go up a chain of command, right? So then you go up to me. If I can't fix it, we go up to a captain. If he can't fix it, we go up all the way to the chief. Most of the time, it never gets anywhere close there. We can squash it. Um, we're a family, right? You sit them down. You let them state one person's firefighter A's argument, firefighter B argument. See if you can come to a um, neutral understanding. And if you can't, then you ask them ways. How can we fix this? How can we not fix this? And if it needs to go up higher, then I'd bring my captain in and see. All right, well, hey, this is what's going on. Fill them in, and then going. What are your thoughts about this? How can we fix this?
Yeah. What kind of specific strategies would you ensure in conflicts are resolved constructively?
That's a hard one. It kind of depends on what the problem is. Um, strategies. We're all family here. We all need to get along. Um, you know, something like when I was Tyler's little kid, you need to like everybody. You're not gonna like everybody, and that's not realistic. But you need to respect everybody, and
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest things we push on here is getting everybody to respect everybody and respect people's belongings and personal views and all that stuff. And if you don't get along, you don't have to talk about it. You can always talk about something else.
Do you do any like hiring? Like, are you
Um,
part of the hiring process of
no, no, I'm
no?
not. I'd love to be on the board though.
So let's say hypothetically you were.
Okay.
Um, how would you know um, whether to choose them?
I think a lot of things would come in to factor. I know people are probably going to be nervous during it, but we want to see if that nervousness eventually goes away, right? The first couple questions are probably going to be nervous and not know what to answer, but we're in a high stress environment job, so we need to know that they can act under pressure. We're also going to ask kind of oddball questions just because we want to see how people think on their feet because this is a job you got to think on your feet. One of the questions was asked during one of my interviews is why is there fur on a tennis ball, right?
Yeah.
some people don't. I actually had to look it up later, but it was actually due to they used to play on clay, and it actually helps stick to the ground and be able to play on off. But knowing how they can think on their feet is big. Um, just their answers to make sure that they're in it for the right reasons, and if we actually can see some of that person's personality come out, to see if they're a good fit. Um, and a new thing that we started to do is letting them go and hang out with the guys afterwards. So we'll do the interview process, and then we'll show them around, give them a tour around the station, and that's more of the personality comes out. So you might not catch that during the interview, but then you get him outside, and then he's jokes too much, or he says profanity too much, or he talks about drinking and alcohol and drugs.
Yeah.
To normal people, he wouldn't do in an interview process. So we try to get more of their personality to come out, and we can read people a little bit more about that. But mainly it's personality. They got to be a good fit just as much as they have to be a good fit with us.
Oh, you kind of answered two questions on that one, which is good because I'll have to say the next one. What does leading by example mean to you, and how would you demonstrate this in your role of a lieutenant?
That's a great. You do it first, right? If it needs to be done, you do it. Like there's like an old cartoon that shows leader and different boss leaders out in front of the big heavy blocks helping pull with his team, and a boss is actually sitting on top of the blocks whipping the people, and that's always been ingrained in my head is you want to be a leader, so you want to go out and do it, right? If it needs to be done, there's trash on the floor, you pick it up, because there's always somebody watching. Someone's going to notice it. Contagious, all this hard work and good. Trying to sound smart, just having like a positive attitude is very contagious, and this is great leadership to do that. And it's super contagious in this department. You just want to lead by example, like you said.
Yeah. How, in your definition, how would you define the difference between management and leadership? And what do you think is like different between them?
So difference is manage, you oversee somebody, you tell them what to do and they do it. To me, leadership is, hey guys, we're going to work together to get this done. Management is more of a boss to me. Leadership is a leader who's right there with the guys, leading them into battle, if you want to say, or lead them into a fire. And management's the person who sitting on the outside telling them what to do.
How do you balance both roles in as like a lieutenant?
That's management and leadership.
Yeah.
There's some times where I'm tasked with something else that I cannot. I have computer work to do, or I have a report to write, or something like that. So I'll manage the guys and saying, hey, I need it done. I'm pretty easygoing. I'll tell them what to get done. I'm not one of those guys who's going, it needs to be done like this, 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 and this. Unless it was directed to me, this is how it needs to be done. So sometimes I'll have to tell them, hey, can you guys go do this for me and get this done? I got to do this. And then the leadership, I'll be out there actually doing it with them.
Yeah.
Is this a high school class or college?
High school.
These are in-depth questions, man. Like I'm on an interview board. So what grade are you?
11th.
You got big plans?
After school?
Mhm.
Not really.
No.
No. That's pretty much the last question.
Oh, okay.